Hello and welcome to this edition of the BizNews Briefing, where we will feature the local CEO of Amazon.com. Yeah, he's a South African who was working for Amazon in senior positions, sent back to this country, and he's been here for nearly 18 months now. So he gave us a little bit of an update. A media shy guy, so good to have him on our program tonight. We'll also hear from Dr. Michael Louis. He is the chairman of the Independent Candidates Association, and the great Ray Dalio from Bridgewater Associates, one of the top hedge fund managers in the world, graces our screen as well this evening. But let's kick off with Absa. We've been sharing with you the trading updates of the major South African banks. This is the way that the banks teach or tell their shareholders about what to expect when the financial results are released around about March next year. So they have what is called a closed period. And so this is an update ahead of the closed period. It'll be darkness on financials for about the next 4 months. But Absa, the last of the big four, to give their numbers. And they reaffirm that indeed the green shoots in the economy are not weeds, that they are moving in the right direction. Absa says that it will be delivering low double-digit earnings growth for the 12 months to the end of December. The real story, though, is in the risk metrics, and that is the bad debt write-offs. Over 100 basis points at the moment. They reckon that for 2025, it'll be at the upper range of between 75 and 100 basis points. And then they're looking at 2026, next year, coming down again significantly. It's very important for banks because if they have lower debt write-offs, then their profits get better. But it's very important for us because if there are lower debt write-offs, it means that the economy is getting better and people can actually afford to pay their debts. Not such good news coming out of MTN Zakhele Futhi. Well, the idea was good. The initial MTN Zakhele did very well for its BEE shareholders. But this time round, you got the full impact of negative gearing. It's a warning that when you borrow money and buy shares, if things go the wrong way, it makes a terrible consequence. And that's exactly what happened at MTN Zakhele Futhi. It's coming to an end now. The board issued a statement on Friday to say that they will be buying back shares from shareholders at a price of 15 cents. It's a long way from the 30 Rand. So why is the shares trading now at 25 cents? Well, there's also a bit of an agterskot that could come in there as well, I guess. But it's not going to be much more than maybe 10, 12 cents from what the market's showing us. Spar is also a company that's taking its punishment. The full year numbers were out today. It's a classic case of kitchen sinking. They've sold off their operations in Poland and Switzerland. They have a headline loss of 4.8 billion Rand. I suppose it hasn't been a complete disaster in the international travels because Ireland is a bright spot in the Spar picture. But the directors have decided not to pay a dividend this year, passing the dividend as it's called in the parlance. And Spar shareholders will be hoping that now that they can focus only on South Africa, there will be better times to come. Moving on to our top story today, as promised, I managed to catch up with the local chief executive of Amazon Sub-Saharan Africa. He's a South African, as you could imagine from the name Robert Kuhn. And I asked him how things were going a year and a half in to Amazon coming into South Africa, given that they've got a very strong competitor here called Takealot.
Yeah, so we launched the online store in May of 2024. So it's just over a year. And, we're getting amazing feedback from our customers who just love the experience, love the speed of it, but also just the reliability of that delivery. And we're working continually just to enhance that, all the time.
Has it achieved the milestones that you've set out? Because it is a pretty competitive area.
Oh, hell yeah. If I could use the technical term, we've knocked it out the park. We're very, very pleased with the performance, especially for Black Friday, exceeded all our expectations. And I think most importantly is just the feedback from the customers has been fantastic. I spend a lot of time in our call centers working with the associates and, looking at some of the feedback. But customers love the speed. They love the value for money, just getting, great deals and great general value across the entire store. And just the experience overall. So great feedback, and we're very, very pleased with how it's going.
With all the stuff that's going on in politics and geopolitics and the noise that we see, including this week, how does that affect people, even if it's just around the water cooler?
You know, Alec, I really don't see the effect. We are here again. We really, as a team, we obsess about looking at what's going on in the business, running the business as it is. And I think, there is a lot of noise out there, but it doesn't impact us. I think we do operate in many, many different countries around the world. And so we're very used to different politics, different geopolitical things happening from time to time. But the best thing we can do is just focus on delivering a great experience for our customer.
We've been hearing a lot about green shoots for the South African economy from the banks and other retailers. So I asked the SA boss of Amazon.com whether he is seeing this as well.
From what we see on the consumer side, our business is, as I said, we've knocked it out the park in Q4. It's exceeded expectations. I think there is a big move of South African customers onto online as they're experiencing the great pricing and the convenience that comes with online. We're seeing that shift, and we're still. It depends on whose estimate you believe, but we're still potentially in single-digit numbers of what part of retail is online when you compare it to some of the other countries. And so there's a lot of room for growth. But I'm one of those optimistic South Africans. This is a great country with some amazing people, amazing skills, and we think long term about it. We've only just begun in this journey. There's a long way to go still.
Cody from Paul has sold multiple vehicles to We Buy Cars. Suspicious? I think so.
Is that a crime?
No. Where are you getting the cars?
I buy them and I sell them at the spot like a normal person.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just an accounting student. I know a good deal when I see one.
That's Excel. Meant. What's more stressful, tax season or selling a car at We Buy Cars?
Tax season, obviously.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
The full interview with Mr. Kun is in the what we call director's cut, and you'll find that on biznews.com/briefing. Well, on to our next story, and this is a clip taken from my colleague Chris Stein's Sunday show, or the NDB Sunday show, named after the late Neil de Beer, and was one of Neil's very close friends. Dr. Michael Louis is the chairman of the Independent Candidates Association, and Chris asked him for his thoughts on the G20 and what could flow from it.
We were very blessed and honored to host the G20. And I think that the reports of what happened there is absolutely outstanding. And I think that they did come to a resolve of an agreement is outstanding. But I'm very much a proponent of substance over form. You know that whilst we've got the agreement, how much of it is going to be implemented? I think that's where I really would love to watch. There were huge capital injection promises made for South Africa. In particular, I'm just thinking of the Middle East that wanted to give a couple of billion for AI, and a number of other promises were there. So it will be very interesting. And I do believe that the result of what the president, when he had that meeting with us as South Africans, he said everybody was impressed with the people. Well, we know that. We've got the most outstanding people, the most outstanding country. But that's not what we're wanting to hear. We're wanting to see us move forward. The second notion about the GNU, about the G20, which I think is really interesting. I attended a function of business leaders, and Christo Visa was one of the speakers. And Christo said made a very interesting comment where he says, you need to know your place, you know? And so that really stuck with me, that I think even although there is this feud with the USA, it is very sad, very disappointing. And there's a lot of information there. But I think South Africa needs to know their place. And we cannot alienate one of the largest economies in the world. And so as a result, they're trying their diplomacy, but I don't really think it's working. But we must know our place and take it up properly.
Today's tailpiece features one of the most respected investors in the world. His name is Ray Dalio. He's with Bridgewater Associates, a hedge fund. And our partners at Bloomberg caught up with him this morning. He's in Abu Dhabi attending an investment conference. Some good news in this for gold bugs.
I think it is the debt service, particularly the government position in the supply-demand of that debt, combined with the politics. What's happening in all of these governments is that they can't increase their spending because they can't increase their debt. And at the same time, they have the needs, more military spending and so on. And at the same time, they can't cut taxes. And so you're seeing a lot of political turnover. In the UK, they've had 4 prime ministers in the last 5 years. Same has been true in France, because there's not the ability to deliver on the economic promises that they're making. So I think it's the confluence of that economics, that situation, and the politics, the debt dynamics working with the politics, working then with this technology adding into it in a bit of a technology bubble.
So final question.
So that concerns me the most. And I would say particularly post-26.
Does that mean that you said recently that 15% allocation in gold and Bitcoin, do you still stand by that line?
I think that everybody should realize that gold is a type of money. It's not something to speculate in, just as you would hold cash. But other cash is a fiat money. And when you have debt, then the government needs to print money and make money easier, which lowers the value of that money. And so also to recognize that gold is a diversifier. When the other parts of the portfolio do badly because of some of the things we're talking about, gold will do better as a diversifier. So it has the effect in such times of raising the returns and diversifying the portfolio. A normal allocation would be between 5 and 15% if you just went into a portfolio optimizer.
Well, that's our briefing for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Cheerio.